would you look at that? We are back again. Welcome everybody to round 3. Is it round 3? It's round 3. I'm going to say it's round 3. Here at Imola, one of my personal favorite tracks, and I hope you come along with me for the ride. It is going to be a quite cloudy Imola in the heart of Italy. The Autodromo Enzo di Dino Ferrari. You have to do it with an Italian accent, otherwise it's not worth it, is it? And if you don't do it with an Italian accent, who really are you anyway? You have to remember, it's the Autodromo Enzo. Repeat it after me. The Autodromo Enzo di Dino Ferrari. You know, you have to kind of say it as that text-to-speech that always went around with Mattia Binotto. That's how you say it. But for the drivers, all 17 of them, they are currently going to have to go through qualifying as of right now. And qualifying they will get, as we have plenty of things to talk about. We have our boys. Look at him. There's Olmo. Javier Olmo. Look at him. He's out there driving around. As is Carl JT Moore, Seth Whitaker, Soren, Johan, Yem, Chris Williams in the Freedomobile. The true patriots always drive the C6R. Because there ain't nothing like a big old motor in your vehicle. You know what? Let's hop on with. Let's see who's not started a lap. Thomas O'Leary. He sounds very Irish. I'll do him. How about that? So, as he gets ready to start his lap, we will ride on board with him, and we'll give you the down low of what this track is like. So first, we pass into turn 1. The Tamburello's a very sweeping right, left, and then right. You need to hold your line out wide, keep the car nice and steady. Then coming down to the Villeneuve chicane. Very tight right-hander, especially for these GT1 cars. Into Tosa, a hairpin. You need to match the apex. Just kiss it, just about there. Get it in. Out they go. Into one towards Piratella. It's going to be a sweeping right-hander. Then a sharp left. Need to make sure that you use all of the apex and then all of the runoff on the outside. Aqua Minerale 1 and 2. Keep it nice and steady as the car goes in. Might slip there coming into the first Minerale. Then out. You want to let the car settle as it goes uphill. Then Variante Alta. A very unforgiving chicane. Very tight. If you upset the car, your lap is done. And if you're really unlucky, your lap is finito. Coming down to Ravazza 1. Sharp left-hander. In. Then out wide. You want to get as much runoff as possible to get into Ravazza 2. Then on to the start-finish straight. Well, he comes into the pits. You've done me a disservice, O'Leary. What have you done? Have your Olmo bit to cross the line. One of the blazers out there at the moment just absolutely just stonks in any car that is old. And he puts it into second with 138.845. Currently leading their little group is Jarrett Lee in his Paceworks Esport little rocket ship. He's already done his 2 laps, so you can't do any more. And let's hope to see if he can stick it there. Nicholas Morelli's already done his 2 laps, and he won't do another. And then we get down to the GT2's Seth Whitaker. I see the number now. It's 1-800-PROTEST. Nem, Seth's driving slow on the outlap. Oh no. Oh, there's the Freedommobile. He's set a lap. Very gingerly through Invariante Alta. Of course, you might have to be. Colors that don't run. According to the car. Oh, he's very timid. He's very timid. But, you know, the main thing is to get around. And get around he does. Crossing the line, probably going to be last of the qualifiers. A 153 doesn't even make it a lap. So that sets us for now. But what is on the line here? What is on the line? Well, some very fast boys in GT1. Some very fast boys in GT2. And a lot of sweat. A lot of sweat. Does my qualifying work? Let's have a look. Did I fix it? I did! So, this is the grid as it stands, with Jarrett Lee, car number 6 in first position, 138.488. Javier da Omo, 138.845. Iliayan, oh, Genie Mac. Juha Iliayan, oh my goodness. With a 139.495. Nicholas Morelli with a 139.770. Stottelmeier with a very nice Martini Racing Audi? Aston Martin. I'm about to be shot. 139.924 with Simon Mayer in 6th position with a 143.72. Geigerson with a 147.30. Nienman with a 149 flat. Then we get into the GT2s that qualified. Moore with a 141.970 slots him into first, with Vatsold in second, Seth Whitaker in third, Collett in fourth, and Matson in fifth. Now you might be wondering, where is Imola? Gee, I'm so glad you asked me that. Did I ever tell you that you're so very, very smart? The Emilia Romagna in Italy, just ever so gently outside of the town, currently is present for the Formula 1. Well, it holds one of the rounds anyway. Keep it going. You best keep it going. With plenty of accolades to GT3s, and of course to us here. We're going to be racing it virtually, but I guarantee you it's going to be absolutely mesmerizing. Look at all these cars. Look at them. Lined up, ready to go. Classes start as they turning anger into hope. Oh, it's a very nice, very, very nice motto. Reminds great charity. Very, very great. Now they're all lined up, almost ready to go. Pace car will be stepping off. It's a very short pace car warm-up session. Only around 2 corners. The last 2 in particular. Around Rivazza 1 and 2. Jarrett Lee will be the one that will step them off as we get ready for 19 laps, a 30-minute race. And this man will lead us off. He's got everybody essentially behind him. The whole world at his oyster, lining them up. Has to keep it paced, has to keep it steady. Javier Olmo will look on his inside as best he can. 3, 2, 1, and it is green flag racing here at Imola. The GT1's absolutely getting jumped by Jarrett Lee, who does not waste any time and says, "Solid, I will go." And go he does. Go he does. Into the Tamburello for the first time. Very, very squeezed, keeping it nice and steady. And everybody makes it through. to the GT2s now. Where are they? There they are. As Seth does make up for his middling qualifying run, but makes it through, gains a spot already. Look at him. Absolutely commanding it back there. 12 GT1s, 5 GT2s as Vesper Lindman under trouble, pushed to the outside by Christian Tanahato. As Tanahato... Tanahato, yeah. Genie Mac, that's the last name right there. Car number 7 getting absolutely... Oh, Chris Williams, trouble for him. Trouble! Trouble! Let's see what happened to him. Oh, the Freedom car. The Freedom car. Oh! Did he have hardware issues? He might have pulled it in for hardware. And it seems like Oscar Geigerson has joined him. Whereas Jarrett Lee doesn't need such shenanigans cropping in his wake. He will just get going, and get going he shall. Stottlemyre. Oh, look at the big amount of smoke from Zawawi. Sorry, correction. Getting all the names murdered tonight. Big puff of smoke from the brakes locking up. The GT2s are in the rear sights. Back in GT2 land, Johan Kulla overtakes the car number 8 of Surin. Charge down now towards the start-finish line and on towards the second time of Tamburello. Squeezing on the inside, the very, very wide outside berth, giving it plenty of berth, has to do so. And Vutzold back in to third, but not for long though, has to keep it steady. He does secure it though. Simon Mayer turned around, and that is into Tosa. Let's have a look. Side by side into Villeneuve with the car number 7. That's going to be Tanahato. Oh, a little bit of a push from the rear and a slam into the side of the wall, and has to take a tow, unfortunately. Probably terminal damage at that point. Very, very unforgiving, these guys, if you do get them wrong. As we just saw with Juha, has to take a slowdown, letting Nicholas Morelli by, charging up into third. Well done for him. But look at this. If you were Jarrett Lee right now, I'd be quaking in my boots, because I see a very determined car number 1 riding my tailpipes as close as possible. He did get the jump on Javier Olmo, did Jarrett Lee, but not for long, I'd imagine, because Del Olmo just loves these kinds of cars and just loves racing, and he is such a skilled driver in the back seat, and just elegantly. Look at him taking it like pros, keeping it nice and steady. He needs to. A little bit wide coming out of the Tamburello, coming onto Villeneuve. It's Villeneuve! It's Villeneuve! Into Tosa, keeping it nice and steady. Gain 0.2 of a second just crossing the line, by the way, so the slipstream definitely is doing its work, but just from looking at the two cars, you can definitely see that Del Olmo just corners that bit flatter coming off, and you can see the tyre marks where somebody has not cornered flat. Midfield, Juha Iliayan stuck in the middle. Nicholas Morelli trying to chase him down, but Christian is just there, really having a go at it, having to peek through the roll bars of the C6R. He really is looking on the inside very, very sharply, wants to get past. Oh, you can hear the scrapes. The floor is not going to be very happy with you if you do that too much times. Too many times, too much times. Holy moly, what's wrong with the English language for me today? Down they go, braking hard. And as I said, sweep out as wide as you can. Get as much runoff as you dare get without incurring the wrath of the gods, i.e. Nim Cross, for going wide, too far wide. That is one very scrunched up rear end. Hopefully he didn't hit any of the main aero parts, or more critically the floor. This rear splitter does do a lot of the work for a GT1 car. You can see how far it extends out. It is quite a vulnerable part when you think about it. It's amazing that these things didn't go flying when you see them racing back on the on like original footage. The things they just go flying, and it's sometimes scary to see that the C6R can be a mean machine when you get caught up to it. Bassam Zawawi back in 8th, needs to chase down Jesper Lindman. Lindman keeping it nice and steady. I'm going to say that a lot, by the way, because they do tend to keep it very steady. You have to keep it really steady with a car like this. But some love for the GT2. Come on, we're not forgetting our boys, because I'm definitely not. Because I'm seeing one very determined Whittaker, who took a very commanding lead at this. Well, not a very commanding lead, but a very commanding move on the start, and is now chasing down this man with a rear wing. There we go. The race works of Carl JT Moore sees this in his rearview mirror. A very worrying sight, the yellow lights. Not what you want to see in your rearview mirror if you're this man. You just want a nice race, you know, pick up some iRacing, pick up some safety rating. I don't think Seth is going to allow him though, because he's just ever so slightly inside the slipstream range. Not enough to make a huge difference, but enough to be threatening. By the way, Simon Mayer has indeed retired from the race, and unfortunately that terminal damage really did cost him. You just see braking distance. He's using the brakes to the most effectiveness, but you don't want to do that too many times, otherwise your brakes one day will decide to fail. The lead for the GT1's heating up quite dramatically. Delomo has closed the gap. He closed it in that first sector there. Specifically, he closed it in Villeneuve as of right now. And oh my goodness, he is fighting very hard. You thought that was bad in Carl JT Moore's case. No, I think Lee is having it much, much worse. Them yellow headlamps are decidedly visible in your rear mirror. Rivale into Alta, down into Rivazza 1. Remember, wide. Tuck it in for Rivazza 2. Out wide again. Let the car nice and easily sit flat out. Now you just want to keep your foot planted. Think about your next move, because very critically, what will happen for Del Olmo, he'll look, he's lining up, he's thinking about it, might try and send, no he won't. He'll hold back, he's just eyeing up the inside there. Nice and easy. Don't cut too much of the sausage curbs will bite back. Use the track to your advantage. Through Villeneuve, then onto Tosa. Flat. Keep the car flat. You don't want the car unsettled as it comes out, because otherwise you split up the rears, and then you look at the wall, and then everybody's saying this man eating wall for breakfast, and then you'll be shamed, and then everybody will laugh at you, and trust me how I know. Yuha, the car number 14, quite far up into the GT1s, keeping it, as I said, steady. Jonathan Stottlemyre, and a lovely Martini Racing livery there for his Aston Martin. Very, very different to the other liveries that I've seen around for these guys. You just hear the floor being ripped to pieces. I'm surprised they lasted a real race with these things, let alone an iRacing. Brake, in, and then out. Car has to stay flat, otherwise, again, rears will spin up. Alta can really push the difference between a good and a great driver, especially if you do not allow the car to settle before you start pumping the accelerator pedal. Lindman, mistake on the exit, I think, of Variante Alta. Let's have a look. And Bassam Zawawi himself making a mistake. We'll have a look at that as well. Oh, he did span the car almost, but he recovered just about. But punished. That spot has been lost. Now, where is Zowie? He's here. What happened to him? He did make the oh. Oh, the sad spin. Now, I'll tell you, when you look at this in from the perspective of the onboard, it is a very sad sight, because the car is only going to go one way, and just very slowly. Yep, rear brakes decide, no, I don't have any grip. I don't think you know you don't have any rear grip, and spins you around. Raidillon still threatening, very, very dangerous around this track. Not dangerous as in like he's going to hurt you. Dangerous as in like he's going to be faster than you if you let him by. A little bit of a wobble coming out of Ravazza 1. Much flatter out of Ravazza 2. Now, pump it. Oh, dearie me! Jarrett Lee, slow down. The mistake has been made, and now Javier Del Olmo just has a free ride, needs to keep ahead. And this, unfortunately, spells bad news for Carl JT Moore. If it can happen to Jarrett Lee, it can happen to him. He just needs to keep the car steady. But how do you keep the car steady when you've got a weapon who's got the number board blocking his view? Seth Whitaker has plain sight of him, lost a tenth or two there in that last set of corners, has had to back off, but he does seem to gain it back quite effortlessly through Sector 2, especially through Aquan and O'Reilly, according to my sheet. Could be wrong though. Atvo does tend to be a bit second-guessing nature with how it tells me. In through. Keep it steady. Now these GT2s are just... They are probably the one car that I would never drive. They are lethal weapons. I don't know how these guys drive them, but hats off to you. And another mistake for Jarrett. What happened here? Did it happen? Oh! Oh dear. Right on the back of Javier Del Olmo. Comes through, carries so much speed, and a little tap in the front. The rear isn't giving the good news. And all the work he just did, I think, has just been scuppered. And I think he is... I wouldn't say necessarily furious, but I would imagine that you're a bit cross with yourself if that happened. He has 8 seconds to make up and 16 minutes to do it. Just coming up to just past halfway now. Seth dropping back a little bit further again. More problems in that last sector. Break. In. Right. Left. Sweeping around. Keeping it nice and tidy. Now he's got Oscar Geigerson behind him, who's actually not fast. Well, he's 3 seconds a lap faster than the two of them. But I think he's actually hiding behind just so that they can let each other race, which is a good lad. Good lad. Juha Iliainen has lost touch with Jonathan Stottlemyre, but they are really close together. They're still 1.6, 1.7 seconds away from each other. Morelli hasn't shaken him, so you never know. The paradigms of 15 minutes can shake things up in an endurance race that has lasted 24 hours, as Le Mans always shows. Same can be said for any race like this. Keep it glued, and let's see. I think he does actually have a little bit of slipstream to Stottlemyre. But is it enough? I don't think so. enough to do nothing. I think Morelli just is a bit more confident in the car. I mean, with the way that I've seen him in the first 2 races of the season, I wouldn't be surprised. He definitely did put the rubber stamp on it and, well, sent the proverbial. Seth overtaken by Oscar Gigerson. Gigerson has chosen now as the time, which might just very well be the thing that Seth needs. Not when that happens, though. Held up through the corners, but definitely the power on the straights and the slipstream that can be provided is definitely something that he would like. Close half a second now. But can he do it? That's a big question. It'll be tight. But most importantly, it'll be absolutely a big gamble for Seth. But he can do it. He can do it. In. Then in again. Through Aquamina Rally. 1 and 2. Hold the car steady. Out she goes. Onto the hill. Variante Alta needs to take as much curb as you dare. Throw the car. Let the car settle coming out. Don't accelerate before she settled. And go. By the way, Jesper, I don't think the wall is meant to be eaten, my friend. But, you know, I've seen it done many different ways before, but I didn't think I was expecting that on the start finish straight. But he is chasing down Thomas O'Leary, who is carrying massive front end damage. He's peppered that car. What's he done to it? Oof. I don't think that bumper is attached. At least properly, anyway. I think the floor is the only thing keeping it together. I think, like, if you look at it closely, you can see the front end wobbling a bit. Yeah, you can just about see it there. That's one scrunched little front end. Thomas, you're not meant to do that, my friend. You're not meant to scrunch the front. It is important for aerodynamics. As I'd assume you'd be an Irishman, as a fellow Irishman like myself, you shouldn't be scrunching your front end, mate. Otherwise, how would the ladies look at you? Or men. Variante Alta once again. Jesper Lindman giving chase. He lost about 5/10 of a second there. He didn't have a great in and out through Variante. Oh, not like that either. That's a massive slide coming into Ravazzo 1. And he's lost just over 2/10 just on that alone. But he does a little bit of slipstream is still existing. Could make use of it. Could he? And a slowdown for Thomas O'Leary. Oscar Gigerson looking to gain at least one place back. He has caught up the rear end of Bastam. And this man has just been slightly reeled in by this man. 9/10 of a second was lost. Excuse me. 9/10 of a second was lost by Carl on that last lap. And, you know, just gently does it. All the way through. He's going to be looking at this and saying to himself, oh no, what do I do here? What do I do? I could panic. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. I could run away. Let me do that. Let me do the panicking bit. Because otherwise, what else can he really do? Apart from panic. As poor Jesper. I think this is another accident coming in. Yes, it is. Well, he got some help this time, but I mean, he started it all on his own and unfortunately has decided to Alt F4 the car. Thomas O'Leary That front end, my guy. Get it repaired. I'm surprised that's not a meatball flag. That's a lot of visible damage. Juha Ilianainen. Back all the way through. In, out. Needs to do it. Eight minutes, just under 9 minutes left in the race. Seth taking it nice and steady. He's probably the main... He's got the main attacking force. But Oscar does also have the fact that he's got a pair of bees in his back pocket and is very angry that he, didn't do much better. So obviously he wants to have a little bit of a squeeze, have a little bit of a go at it. So what does he respond with? Coming through now. Aqua Minerale 1, wide. Aqua Minerale 2, tuck it inside. Use the runoff, let the car sweep out, keep it steady. Now get your brakes down. Get your brakes in, boys. In, through. Use the curb as best you can. Oscar just a little bit upset. That car bouncing as it was coming out. He probably took a little bit too much curb. Now you do want the car to bounce onto the curb. You want a little bit of curb, but you don't want to eat the curb either, because if you eat the curb, well, you saw what happened with poor Oscar. He is going to he's going to feel that in the morning. First off, he's going to feel that in the morning, but second off, he's going to lose time, and he has lost time, but not when your car is sounding like this. It's always a good time. 273 kilometers an hour, just coming into the braking zone, passing by the same place. Unfortunately and very tragically, Ayrton Senna lost his life, coming up to almost 30 years ago now next year. 1994. Goodness gracious, it's been a hot minute. Inside now goes Oscar. Very, very close battle here now. Bassam can't really respond. He's got the harsher outside line, but he could still have it. Still got a nose in, a nose and a whisker and a hair. Does he close the door? Oh! Well, he did close the door, but then, unfortunately, poor Oscar hit from the rear again. Let's have a look. Yeah, Bassam lost control, and it upset Oscar's car to the point where the spin was just going to be inevitable. And the Scandinavian driver probably didn't have that planned in his back pocket. But Bassam has now towed. What's this for? Oh, he's just towed. And retired the car, so that is it for him. 3 retirements so far. By the way, Chris Williams, what a champ. He didn't have the best car, he doesn't have the best iRacing, but he comes back out. What a trooper. Gotta make sure that them stars and stripes still get seen. Also, how is there 27 Chris Williams on the surface? How is there 27 of them? Is that just a really popular name? Ooh. Jared Lee really hasn't recovered. He's actually lost more time, having to pass. I think that is Johan Kulla. But he has lost very, very widely now. Has lost the back end of Javier Del Olmo, who's just been putting in fast laps. 39 flat on that last one. Jared Lee put a 147. Not enough for Tanahato to make the difference in the friction racing number 7. But, you know, you can tickle his fancy. What if Jarrett Lee made a mistake? That'd be second. Of course, his front right doesn't look very happy. Probably is very angry that he has a car right now. But you know what? There's worse things in life. And one of them will probably be the rear wing that looks like this. That is not a very flat rear wing. Oh, that's a very scrunched in rear end. If I had a back bottom that looked like that, there would be some laughs. There would be some goofs at my expense. All in good jest though. Oscar Geigerson coming back through the field. Mad charge he is right now. And unfortunately, I have just jinxed a man. Exhibit A. I hereby declare I have just jinxed a man. Jarrett Lee didn't make the mistake. He did. Nicholas Morelli now sniffing the podium. 3 minutes to go. He will be probably taking every opportunity. He only has 2 laps to do it. Every opportunity he can get, he'll take it. Now, what will happen? What will happen? Watch closely. Morelli looks on his inside. He looks for the bait. Bait and switch. Outside line. Does he want to commit to it? He does not. He wants Tanahato to be compromised on his entry. It's very important that you get a nice entry because it sets you up for the next 2 corners of Tamburello. Villeneuve now. Make sure that you have a nice sweeping, nice set of lines. Remember, the attacking party can just absolutely hound you through the first sector. There is literally no holds barred when it comes to everything up until the hairpin there, turn 7. Up, through. Needs to keep it nice and tidy. Through Curatella. Keeping it okay, just needs to hold off for a bit more. I'll tell you, if he didn't make that mistake, he would have actually caught up to Jarrett Lee right about now. He actually, because Jarrett Lee made the mistake, but it's too late for our boy Tanahato, who's made the mistake first. He blinked first. Breaking in. Needs to keep it nice and tidy. Nicholas Morelli looking there. Now he looks very threatening. He's got the power. He's got a much cleaner car, so probably not suffering much aero damage. Oh, a little bit of a wobble. Might have touched the grass a little bit. Oh, not a great... Oh, that line is not great. Oh, definitely didn't have a great run through Ravazza 1 or 2. Struggling to think which one was worse, actually. Hop on board now. Front right of his car. Oh, closing the distance. Needs to do that. The car ahead of him is going to be Johan Collett. And Johan Collett, perfectly acceptable. Pulled it in when he could in a safe place. No drama. But unfortunately, Morelli capitalizes so cleanly on that. He made the mistake. He'll have to accept that now. But it's not over yet. Not over yet. Still at least 1 extra lap to go. Ooh, can he do it though? Can he? That's the question, isn't it? Can you? Would you be able to do it if the time came? Would you make the pass? Would you be the ultimate podium finisher in 3rd place? Just another day, Thomas O'Leary has actually closed the gap quite a bit. He caught up by a second, just under a second to Juha on that last lap. So there is 2 fights. Unfortunately, the 2 fights are not in GT2. They're both in GT1. As Javier Del Olmo, with the strongest of commanding leads, takes the white flag. A pit stop. Jarrett Lee has got a pit stop. Could this be for incident limit? He's going... Oh my goodness. This blows the equation wide open. It now is a fight for 2nd. It's a drive-through. He had a drive-through. Oh my goodness, my boy. Because Stottlemyre will just have the squeakiest of passes through. Less than 6/10 of a second separating the two of them. And Stottlemyre will just now be singing his praises. He has a 4th place in his back pocket. As long as he can keep Jared Lee behind. And Nicholas Morelli, look at this, man. Oh, it was a tantalizing prospect. But, ooh, that's 2nd place silver. Ooh, that's going to be... that's going to be the thing of dreams. The kind of thing that'll keep you awake at night. Oh, poor Guyerson. He spun it again. And he spun it in front of this man. Javier Dalomo. The orange number 1. And he did himself proud. Very, very commanding race from start to finish. Number 1. Sweeping. Yeah, he knows he's done it. Yes, he knows he's done it. Yeah, bring it home. Bring it home. And Jarrett Lee, again, another mistake. That means Stottlemyre is practically confirmed 4th place. Morelli. Can he make the move on the last? Oh, can he make it? I don't think he will. And that means Tanahato, who had the 3rd qualifying and a 3rd start. 2nd place for you, my boy. Take a bow. Nicholas Morelli, well done. 3rd. Jonathan Stottlemyre, 4th. I bet you he didn't expect that whatsoever. And poor Jarrett Lee, what could have been, started on the front row with everybody else. And it just collapsed on him. 2 mistakes and a drive-through really, unfortunately, sealed it for him. Ilialainen. Back through he goes. 7th. And then 8th, or 7th, is going to be Thomas O'Leary. The crunch from them makes it home. But let's have at it for Carl JT Moore. Kept it together, kept his foot in check, kept his car in check, and look how clean it is. Showroom piece. Drive it on a Sunday, or a Thursday in this case, and buy it on a Monday. Or it's that NASCAR. That's NASCAR. But it still applies. It still applies. And Seth Whitaker takes home 2nd place. The last man to cross the line is actually going to be Jem Matson. And that is a race complete for everybody that just crossed the line. Well done to you all. That was a great race. Now, I think we can go through the results and then we will see if anybody wants to talk to me. The race winner for the GT1s is going to be the boy in orange toy. That's going to be Javier Del Omer with a commanding victory. 26 seconds up the road was Tanahato. And in 3rd place, the last step on the podium, was Morelli. He couldn't finish it, but I'd say he's pretty happy with that. Stottlemyre in 4th, Iliainen in 5th, with O'Leary T in in 6th position. And then the winner for GT2s, Moore in 1st with Whitaker in 2nd. Lee was in 7th for the GT1s. Guyerson in 8th. Votzold in 3rd for the GT2s. Collett in 4th. And Matson in 5th. Williamson was 3 laps down. Zawawi retired 6 laps down. Lindman retired 8 laps down. And Simon Meyer, unfortunately, not his day today, 17 laps down and retired the car pretty early. Now, as I should mention, next week we'll be back to the Sunday racing and we will be back with a crack at the Red Bull Ring, a Grand Prix layout, 13 minutes of racing, and I guarantee you somebody will beach it onto the sausage curbs coming out of turn 1. That's my prediction. And if you have another prediction, then I'd love to hear it. Of course, I'll tell you this much. If it so happens that no one does beach it, then you're all gems in my book. You're all gems in my book. Swear on my heart, cross my heart, and hope to die. But I think for now, nobody is going to come talk to me. So, I will leave it there for now. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, click the like button, subscribe to Raidillon TV so you don't miss a moment. Next time out, as I said, is the Red Bull Ring, the Grand Prix layout, which will be on Sunday, 2045 British Summertime or 1945 GMT. Until then, I have been Robert O'Brien, your cameras and voice. This has been Raidillon TV, the only corner you need, and we'll hope to see you again at some stage. Good evening, one and all.